Hi, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Second Count podcast. I'm your host, Paul, and with me today I have Bartek, who is my guest, and he's going to introduce himself now.
Hi guys, my name's Bart. I'm a paramedic for the ambulance service.
Perfect. So, what got you started in the ambulance service? Why did you decide to become a paramedic?
So, I'd say it's a bit more of a cliche thing. I used to be in cadets when I was younger. The first aid sessions actually got me interested. So, started doing some more first aid sessions, and actually was like, oh, this is really interesting. Um, which led me to become a CFR, and that was a bit more of a I like this. This is a job I'd like to do, and it got to a point in my CFR career where, I was like, I'd like to do more. So applied for university.
So you went the university route.
I did, yes.
Yeah. How did you find the? So I'm 5 months from qualifying university route as well. So how did you find it?
So to it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard, and even looking back at it now, there's elements of it where I think it's a bit of a cheap way to go with it because you're going out qualified, and there's times when I'd like to have done the apprenticeship route. But personally, it was just one of those experiences that was quite nice. You got the learning, you went out on placement. The only thing I'd probably change about university is have more placement exposure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like the apprenticeship route, you're constantly on the job, aren't you? You
Hmm.
work full time on the job, and then you go to uni now
Oh,
and then. Whereas myself in university, you're off the road for a while,
God knows
months,
how long.
and then you
Yeah.
come back, and then you're stagnant. So how did you cope with that like lull in like snap practice?
So where I was at university, so I was at the University of Greenwich on the Medway campus, and best thing the University of Greenwich did with C Camp, so I was under the South East Coast Ambulance Service, um, and we had a few placement blocks with our last one ended in July, I believe, June, July time. So by the time I finished placement and I started work where I am now, it was, I'd say, about a month. So I didn't see that much of a stagnation or anything. It was just the imposter syndrome. The oh no, I'm actually now the person you're calling on. I'm like, it feels like you need a spare set of trousers with you all the time.
No, I can agree. I'm starting to feel the same. I'm starting to get that imposter syndrome. It's like actually in 5 months' time, I'm
Mm,
qualified, and then it's I am the help. Then, so yeah, I can
yeah.
completely agree with what you're saying. So, what kind of day-to-day jobs do you see in the trust that you're in?
So it varies. A
Mm.
lot of chest pains, um, breathing problems, especially now we're coming into winter. I can imagine you, when on placement, the same. You see a lot of breathing problems, a lot of chest infections, and then a more urgent care stuff. I'd say the urine infections, chest infections again, and uh, then there's the odd urgent care job you've got to focus on. You attend, and then if it's an odd shift, you might get a trauma job or a medical job. But that's yeah,
Quite rare. It is
it
just
is. Yeah,
a lot of chest pain, a lot of COPD. No,
I mean,
definitely.
those I think are a good way to get your feet in those jobs. Personally, because we all love the trauma jobs, we all love the high pressure ones. It's the little basic jobs, the falls. That's another one we see a lot. Is a lot of falls. Those are the jobs you do a lot of skills on there. You do a lot of soft skills, communication with the patient, and assessment compared to the trauma job because it's all algorithm half the time.
So when you were in uni, is there any? What was you? better at? Was you more academic or was you more hands-on practical?
Absolutely not. I hated my academic side. Um, no, I enjoyed the doing stuff, the assessments, doing the skills day, going into uni, doing like the practical side. That was my go-to. I managed through the academic, but yeah.
I always hear it. Everyone I speak to, it's practical was their key. Like
Mm,
there's some people who love the academic side of it. I understand why it's
yeah,
there, but when it comes down to the job, what's more important, really?
yeah, exactly.
Like, but we've got to do it and we get through it. But how did you find Oskies? Did you do well in Oskies, even though it's not
S-
real?
No, I think I found it quite hard in the sense of getting my head around it because the thing you do, everyone knows that what you do on the road is completely different to what you do on the Oski. So I remember one of my Oskies was like a part of making everything counts, the to help people stop smoking and alcohol reduction, and you had to remember like the statistics and things like that. I was like, I've got a good memory, but yeah, no, that I struggled with that one. I think it may have been just because of the interest. Um, but yeah, I found the Oskies a little bit daunting at times because it feels like I've got someone constantly watching at me and there is nothing to be made out of it. You know the outcome, what will be the, the cardiac arrest, if chest pain turned into cardiac arrest. Oh yeah, okay, the bog standards Oski, yeah, scenario. And you just said, yeah, so they're gonna be dead most likely at the end of this Oski. Um, or they'll say, yeah, they've survived. Now what do you do? And it's like, hold on a minute, you lost track because you know what you're expecting.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's hard, but like you say, we get through it. So,
Yeah,
jobs wise now, because you've been qualified, was it 2020? You're free, you qualified.
yeah. So I've been in the trusts now. So I've been qualified for over 2 years now.
Yeah. So looking back, is there any kind of job you think, wow, that was intense, or any sort of memorable job that you can remember that you want to
There's
share?
been there's been a few. Um, I don't know. Some people might find it lucky. Some might find it horrifying. I've been to about four traumatic arrests as a newly qualified uh, paramedic, and they have been daunting because they're like, oh wow, oh crap, and yeah, it's a difficult, it's a good question, but I'd say it's a little bit difficult as well because the variety of jobs you go to can be so difficult at times. Most of them, I find the social ones a bit more daunting. I'd say, um, like uh, as an example, I've recently been to a gentleman that unfortunately he's registered blind, partly deaf, and yeah, there's no care or anything in place, and it's like it's actually quite sad where we live in that society kind of it. Like there is people wanting to help, but the process is quite difficult, and the process of it getting all in place takes time. So for me, those are a bit more of a daunting job. Um, whereas the traumatic arrests are, I like the adrenaline. I like the critical care side of it. I like the bit of the adrenaline rush every now and again, where oh okay, we're making a bit of a trying to make a bit of a difference here. Whereas the social ones, yes, you can sit back, you do the safeguarding, you do the social referrals, but you don't really hear back. You don't know what happened. Oh, will I go to that patient later on, or will I not?
So the traumatic arrest, how did you manage? Because you said you went to four. It's
Yeah,
newly
so
qualified.
yeah, so
How did you manage
first,
that?
thankfully, I wasn't first on scene until the last one. um, But I think it's as much as you're crapping yourself on the inside and you're screaming and be like, "Oh my God, I'm meant to be the helping hand here." You just got to go back to your basics, A, B, C's, and that's. I've got a student, a third year student with me now, and that's some of the first thing I said to her on our little induction on placement is, if anything fails, go back to your A, B, C's. That's the important part. And looking back, those are the things I was able to help me manage them, those arrests, and help, and the fact that I had a good roommate and a good team that was there before me as well, which was quite helpful.
Makes difference.
It does make a big difference for sure. And in those circumstances, is as long as you've got the ABCs in place, you can't go wrong. And it's the coping of them is just making sure you speak about it, the sharing the experience, because then some other people might have a bit of a supportive measure to it, or when you talk through it, you reflect on it, so it kind of solidifies what you've just done, and okay, it wasn't too bad in the end. It was just a process, ABCs, algorithm, hot principles, and then just bog standard arrest after that.
You mentioned then you got a student, would you?
I do, yeah.
How is it your first student you've had as a paramedic?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So going forward, teaching that student, how are you approaching the teaching side of things as a paramedic?
So I am going off what my student feels like she needs. So my first conversation with her was, I stared her, by the way. I said, "I'm not afraid to put you on a DAP, like a development action plan, because if you're saying that, then you're solidifying that. Say, actually, I'm not going to be like pansying around you or beating around the bush. I will say it to you straight." And emailed her a week before our placement, so she actually introduced herself first. So I emailed her a bit of a task to say, "Look, what have you learned in second year? Come back, make a list of things you would like to work on." And then we had a conversation of how would you like to structure this placement block and what you'd like to get out of it, in a sense. One of the main things is she wants to get as many cannulas as she can. Fine, you'll cannulate every patient we need to cannulate. But as I mentioned, I took the approach of, because she's a third year, so she's quite good. Hopefully she won't see the podcast. I've just let her I've stepped back, and allowed her to crack on. And she knows that but she also knows she's not alone. That myself or my crewmate, if she needs it, will be there. So she's not alone, because that's the worst fear in a student, if they feel like they're alone. You're unqualified at the end of the day. You've not got a pin. You have no qualification. It can be a bit daunting, but that reassurance that, yeah, you know what, I am here, so don't be afraid. So if you do lose track or need an extra question to throw in, we'll support you. And
Well,
that was my approach.
You mentioned action plans then as well. Like I think a lot of people think action plans are a bad thing. It's really not.
It's not.
It's a process of learning. Like you can learn off an action plan, and it might benefit you in the long run. People think they're scared of them. A lot of students, like below like first years and second years, are scared of action plans, but they're nothing to be worried about. How do you look at action plans? Do you agree with that?
No, I 100% agree. I was one of those first years as well, where I was scared to have an action plan.
Yeah.
Like when you're in first year at uni, no, I don't want an action plan. No, thank you. But I come in this role now where I am. I do agree with it. In some ways, you can help a person as much as they can However, sometimes they can't. If they don't help themselves, they won't progress. And sometimes having a action plan solidifies. Actually, I understand I've spoken to you about this situation. I've pointed it out, but we need to now make it a bit of a formal process. We need to go away. We need to just do some CPD about it, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's nothing harmful, and a bonus, that's an extra CPD thing for your portfolio.
And even on the part, sometimes it looks good that you've gone away and learned something, and you can actually
Mm-hmm.
show progression. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So with your students, was there any sort of first time advice that you gave her on like first day, first shift? Is there anything you said to her to kind of calm her nerves or
I
anything you want
think
to share?
for me, it was just being reassuring that I am like, as much as you are a third year and you're not, you're meant to be doing everything now. We all have that impression. You're third year, you need to be doing that. I said to her, as much as you're a third year, you don't know everything, and you won't know. We are here to help you. We don't know everything, but this is where, if we don't know anything, we speak about it, we make a plan, and then that's how it works. It makes a plan off somehow. Someone will say an idea, we might disagree, might agree, and ta-da, we've got a management plan for this patient. And again, reminder, if in doubt, go back to your ABCs. That was my two things: the reassurance from the mentor, and remember your ABCs.
So, bit of a random question, but I just thought I'd
Go
throw
on.
it in there. Is there anything you think the public misunderstand about the job we actually do? Is there anything the public
Oh,
does that like you think irritates, or do you feel like there's anything that the public need to know going forward about the ambulance service?
so things is like, oh, when you go to a patient, but oh yeah, I watched the 999 programs. I'm like, yeah, it's not real.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, that's not how it works. And again, I think we just need to emphasize that sometimes, and I even say it to my patients, don't get me wrong, that sometimes if you feel that you can make your own way to hospital, don't be afraid to do it, because it takes longer for us to get to you, do the assessments, and then make a plan to whether to leave you or transport you to hospital than you making your own way to hospital. Because it's still the same. Unless your limb's hanging off, you're not taking priority. You're not taking space in Rat Bay, or you'll be going straight to the waiting room. So I think that's one of the big things, is that we need to emphasise that is a myth, that you'll be seen quicker by an ambulance. I don't trust what the programs say.
So you touched on it there, but I think it still happens. I think people still think if you ring an ambulance, they will get seen
They
to quicker,
do.
and it's just.
I've been to a few, and they're like, "Oh, really? Yes, really, yeah."
And then they get like aggressive or angry about it, and it's like it's not my fault.
No, no, I haven't had a patient get aggressive with me over that. They were like, they were just shocked. They were like, oh, did they watch the American programs? They watch the 999 Watch Your Emergency, or whatever they decide to watch, and it's like, yeah, it's all well and good. Yes, I understand where the ambulance service wants to go to show what we do through those programs, but the reality of it is we we are stuck on those jobs, and to help those people, to do some of those social referrals, we're not just paramedics. We are social workers, we are carers, we are grievous support. We support families of patients who've just passed away. We had jack of all, master of none. And I think that's a big message that members of the public should understand is that, yes, you can say, oh, don't approach paramedics in public, or just be kind because you don't know what they came from. Yeah, that's right. You don't know what you came from. Just be considerate. We may have just dealt with something that may not be traumatic to some people, but it can be an effective way because it's actually, you've just gone to, for example, an 89-year-old who's just in a social problem at home. And we go to those jobs, and unfortunately, we will still be going to those jobs.
Especially winter time as well. Winter pressures
Oh,
is just
100%.
100%. It's just
Yeah,
a lot of your time is spent at these jobs, and they're sad. They are really upsetting.
yeah.
Anyway, so we've come to the end now. Last question.
Go on.
Any advice for first year, first student? If you had to say a few words to a first year, first student going into paramedic practice, what would it be? What would help? If you had to look back and go back to your first year, what helped you and why?
I'd say just as much as you're brand new, you have no idea what's going on, just get stuck in, even if you're doing OBS, because you're building on the soft skills, the communication aspect. And I remember my mentor, one of my mentors back in first year, was, you're going to sit in the back. We're going to have a chat. We're going to be communicating with the patient, because it's been 4 or 5 years now since I was in the back of the ambulance for the first time as a student paramedic, and I was shy. Let's be honest, everyone was. You don't know what you're doing. I had no idea, some sort, because of the CFR background. However, it was the communication side, and when you're going into hospital, it's making conversation and making the patient valuable in a sense, like they're there. They're not just a job. They're actually a human being at the end of the day. So my biggest advice would be, remember your ABCs, get stuck in, even if it's just OBS. Don't have to be doing a full-on medical assessment with words you don't understand. And just get your people skills. Talk. Make random conversations with patients. Anything. It will get you out there, and you'll be not more confident, but you'll be a bit more confident in talking, especially when you come out as a paramedic, nurse, or whatever career you decide to do.
Thank you, Bart. Well, it's been lovely speaking to you. We have come to the end now. Is there any social media you want to plug, where we can find you? Anything you want to say?
I'm more than happy for you to tag my Instagram. Don't post in there regularly, but whenever I do, I do. But yeah, thank you very much for the invite. Really appreciate it.
No problem. All the best. You take care.
You as well. Good luck in the next 5 months.
Oh, thank you.